Hi everyone, this is Bobby from bn-games.com, and we're here doing something new. We're doing a redemption.
Unique.
Yeah,
unique.
well, not unique. I'm sure we may do this again down the line.
If you are a regular to the Classic Capture series or our channel, you'll know that we did a Classic Capture for South Park Rally and the N64
recently.
And we mentioned getting the Dreamcast version.
Yeah.
We played the Dreamcast version.
It's worth doing a video of.
Yeah.
So right now, here's a split of the intro of the Dreamcast version on the left and the N64 intro on the right.
Let's just let them watch.
I'm going down south, I'm gonna have myself a time.
Friendly faces everywhere, humble folks without temptation.
Going down south, I'm gonna leave my woes behind.
Ample parking day or night, people spouting party never.
Heading on up south, I'm gonna see if I can't unwind. So come on
can
down
tell.
south, I'm gonna meet some friends of mine.
All right, so back to the Dreamcast version. That should give you a really good idea of the visual difference, or at least try to. One of my biggest complaints was how muddy and ugly it was, and how choppy, and
That's, I think,
how hard it was to really understand where you were going and stuff. Dreamcast version, this is definitely a case for more power gives you.
Yeah, it's like anything graphical or audio. I mean, pretty much anything. I mean, the game still has its fundamental flaws.
Yes, that we should mention. It's still broken in some ways that we've mentioned in the other video, which we're not going to go over.
Yeah. I mean, the only thing I would say is the handling on it's a lot better.
Oh, a lot better.
it's not as choppy.
But I mean, it's like the video or the audio of the mayor and all that.
I think the audio
sounds so much better.
I think a real key point to also state is this is one of those games where I know I mentioned at the end of the other video, the PlayStation 1 version is probably the worst version. It goes for like $3 to $5. The N64 version is the most common version, which goes for about $5. And the Dreamcast version, which is not the most common version, goes for usually about $20.
Yeah, and I you know what? After playing it, I can honestly see why. Because I could actually say I liked this one. I mean,
thankfully, I did not pay $20 for this.
Yeah.
I paid $5.
Yeah, but I mean, honestly, if you can get past some of the fundamental flaws of it, and if you played it enough to kind of memorize things and get used to it, because like me, this is the second time I raced this track and I already screwed up at the start. If you could get past those little bit of fundamental flaws of just kind of the tracks being unorganized and stuff like that.
And in its defense, I'm sure it's one of those things you get over the more you play it.
No, I know, that's what I'm saying.
Right.
If you play it and if you can get over to those flaws like that,
it's a good game.
Then it's actually a good game. I mean, I would actually have no complaints with it. I would actually take the game out of the Diddy Kong category.
Yeah, in fact, I want to touch on Diddy Kong here in a second now, just so that we're clear on who's who. Bobby is Cartman.
Yes.
Kyle on the top right is Tim, and I'm playing Jimbo because they're coming right at us. Yeah, so as you can see, not only is it handling one of the screens in super smooth fashion, it's handling all three, and in fact, this version has a lot more draw distance. I want to say, when you launch, like for example, you have the cat or the hooker that you launch. You can actually see them making contact because of how far the draw distance goes. And personally, I don't know if you'll agree with this. I was throwing the items and they were actually hitting this time around.
I was just going to mention that. Actually,
I noticed it in the last one. Like I threw the hooker and she didn't. She went as far as I could see.
I think the dog is the only thing that got hit anybody because it was like a heat seeking.
Yeah, and then after she's out of the vision, I think it just unspawned it.
Yep.
And that's it. This, not only can you see it, it was actually hitting.
The one thing I will say, the only weapon I've used that I thought actually did look better on the 64 was the laser beam. I thought it looked a little bit. I mean, I know it's hard to say, but
I don't know.
But as far as like the rest, like actually throwing the cat, like on the 64 version, I couldn't tell I threw anything.
Yeah.
On this one, I actually seen it.
And not only that, not only was it chugging to begin with, as you're adding items, the 64 version chugs even more.
Yeah,
I think we and Marco at least agreed. We believe just the way that it runs is the Dreamcast version was the primary
what it was developed on,
and then they just downgraded it
imported it over.
Another thing is this one actually has some kind of sense of speed.
Yeah,
That's
It seems like it's so much faster, and the 64 version, it's got like one of those like the DS Mario Kart feel where it's just like the level's moving slowly.
It doesn't give you depth.
Yeah,
I think because it doesn't give you depth, you really don't feel like you're going anywhere.
Yeah.
which is one of the problems that we complained on for Diddy Kong Racing.
Yeah, and especially
not Diddy Kong Racing.
But
you know what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Wait.
One of the things like that though, and it also goes for the handling, is that like in the turns you actually have some kind of like drift or like pull physics.
Well, let's keep it in perspective. It is a much better version than 64, but it's still not the best. Anyway, this is a redemption for watching on the Dreamcast.